Hi everybody, Jared Johnson here. Welcome to my Monday webinar. Thanks for joining us today. Just want to do a little quick, get some information out here so you guys can know how to get a hold of me. Again, it's Jared Johnson. You can visit my website, which you have all been to, I'm sure, a time or two, daytradersfx.com. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/daytradersfx. I send out free charts. I send out all kinds of good things on Twitter, so trade ideas and all kinds of stuff. We have a live trade group that I would love to invite you to get a free trial at. You can get a free trial set up in literally a couple of seconds. If you go to daytradersfx.com/join, that will get you set up there. If you have any questions about anything that we've talked about today or just anything in general, don't hesitate to shoot me an email at jared@daytradersfx.com, or you can send me a message on Twitter, just anywhere. Let me know. I'm happy to chat with you and help you out with anything that we have discussed, or just any questions you have in general about trading or just anything. I'd love to chat. Okay, so for those of you that have not attended my Monday webinars, or this is your first time, this is basically what we're going to cover. Things that I'm hoping to trade this week, what important news announcements we have scheduled, which we do have some big ones this week, overall trends for major currencies that I'm looking at, whether I want to be short term or long term, if I just really want to be buying US dollar against anything, I don't care what kind of a thing, or that kind of a deal. And we'll talk a little bit about the stock market and commodity trends, gold and silver, and how stocks are doing and so on. One thing that's important to remember about trading is currency trading can be risky, so just be careful, be conservative. These are my trading ideas. Trade at your own discretion and at your own risk. These are things that I'm going to be looking at, and I may manage them slightly differently than how I talk to you about them this week, which, of course, if you'd like to get more information on that, you can get a free trial in our trade group so you can see exactly how I manage these. But everything that I talk about in this webinar right now is definitely subject to change. So just trade at your own discretion. And really, the biggest risk disclosure is this right here. Do you want to be taking trade ideas from a guy that looks like that? Well, maybe. I don't know. There's me. I'm just trying to see into the future. Stella's helping me out a little bit. Okay, so a couple of things to cover there. So once again, jump in, get a free trial at daytradersfx.com, and you can see how we really trade all of this stuff. Okay, so we've got a big week ahead of us. Stocks are having a little bit of a tough start today, and we'll see how they go this week. You can see the Dow's down a little bit, oil's back down, gold's back down. Everything's pretty flat. Overall, everything is pretty generally flat. And can we expect more of that flatness this week? I would say very possibly, because and I wish this was on Tuesday instead of Thursday, because big trends are going to hold off until this news comes out on Thursday. And the news is the FOMC statement and interest rate announcement and so on. You can see right here, officially, the U.S. is expected to raise their rates from 0.25% to 0.5%. We'll see about that. This is going to be, to say the very, very, very least, what is going to happen on Thursday will very likely break the internet. It'll break your charts. It's just going to break everything because everybody is so split on all the big economists are so split on what they think is going to happen with interest rates that nobody has any idea at all whatsoever. And of course, if the Fed raises rates, then all the people that said the Fed was going to raise rates are going to come front and center, and if they don't raise rates, all the ones that said that they weren't going to raise rates are going to come front and center, and it's just that typical kind of stuff. So anyways, all we can absolutely count on positively is the fact that Thursday is going to be a huge, huge day for all dollar pairs, pretty much yen pairs as well. And so it's going to make those guys move like mad. So let's just be ready for that. Thursday's a huge, huge day. We're going to be doing some live events for all of that. And we're just going to basically buckle our seatbelts and hope we survive the wild craziness. And for those that are not super familiar with trading news, I typically don't try to be in long-term trades through these movements. It's just crazy, risky, and too scary for me. Monday, as far as today, we've got a little bit of news. The bigger stuff is coming in on Tuesday. We've got UK CPI numbers. This is big for pound pairs. CPI numbers are important. That's a big deal. So that's coming Tuesday night for the UK session. And then we have retail sales for the US, which is big. Some good New Zealand news. Wednesday, we have employment numbers for the UK, also very big. So that's going to be some big activity. We may do some live sessions on some of that overnight stuff. Um, we have CPI numbers for the US, which is big. We have GDP numbers for New Zealand, which is big. So we've got lots of big news. And of course, on Thursday, we've got interest rate news for Switzerland. Last time they had a little bit of a surprise interest rate situation. The Swiss franc moved like 800,000 pips or something. It was totally wild. Probably not going to do anything like that, but you never know. So be cautious and careful if you have any Swiss franc trades going on. Retail sales for the UK is also on Thursday. That's a big mover. And then, of course, we have FOMC US interest rates stuff, which is going to be pretty huge, I would say. So with big dollar news coming out like we have this week, I'm going to be really, really, really cautious about any longer term trades on US dollar pairs. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to take some short term trades on dollar pairs, because I absolutely positively am going to be doing that. This is the euro dollar right here. And to be very clear, I have no idea what it's going to do, but I have an idea of some things that I would like to do myself. We've still got a pretty nice little channel on euro dollar that seems to be holding very well right here. So this is a nice, fantastic little channel. We're sitting right in the middle of it. We have this huge price rejection, huge reversal candle right here, but then it didn't seem to hold very well. The euro dollar has absolutely crossed the 23% fib, and therefore I'm expecting it to reach the 38% fib, which if it took a little bit of time, that would put it right at the top of this channel, at which point I'd probably short it. But as you can see, that is 500 pips away from current market price. I'm going to be looking for opportunities to trade breakouts with the coming FOMC news. I think it's going to be huge, and I think the market's going to. I think currencies are going to move hundreds and hundreds of pips with the coming news. So I've got good reason to believe that the euro dollar is headed up to 118. This is my favorite Fibonacci trade, and it's running to the top of this channel. And I think that is such a likely scenario for the euro dollar to just continue inching its way up into this region here. And giving us a test of the top of this channel and giving us a test of the top of, or excuse me, of the 38% fib. I just think that is all very, very, very good and very possible, and I'm looking for that to happen. However, I will be so very absolutely prepared to short the euro dollar as well, especially depending on any of the FOMC activity that we get on Thursday, which could greatly change my outlook. But at this point, I'm kind of looking for that euro dollar to head up into that 118 zone. I think it can make it. It's got a good price pattern for it. And if there's any additional dollar weakness, it could get up to 11800 if the FOMC comes out more dovish than some are expecting. And if rates don't go up, and potentially if there's even hints at further weighting or more QE or anything like that, then 11800 will be a very, very easy target for the euro dollar at that point. However, if they come out swinging and the dollar rallies, then we're going to have plenty of opportunities to short the euro dollar as well. Remember, this is a big reversal candle, and we've got some interesting levels coming up through this 113, 114 area. And we'll have some good opportunities to short it. But again, that's kind of the longer term outlook. Shorter term that I'm going to be looking for here is because I think short term is our only safe bet right now. This is a 1 hour chart, and I like our 1 hour head and shoulders pattern. I think this is a great bet, and I can't imagine the euro making too much of a trendy movement before the big news comes out. So if we can get a nice little shoulder forming right here, then I'll look to trade the euro dollar down about 100 pips sometime over the next 24 hours, give or take. So I'll be looking for that on the euro dollar and seeing if there's some opportunities for us to get short and trade this down into 112 and ultimately into about 111.50. You can see we're sitting at about 113.15. So with this little short-term 1 hour head and shoulders pattern, I think we've got a good opportunity to get this back down into the 112 zone and kind of into that consolidation area that we've seen for a couple of weeks on and off. If this does turn out to be a bigger pattern, then we'll keep an eye on that. This is a 4-hour chart, and so far it doesn't look like it's too terribly crazy. So at this point, I'm going to look for a little short-term head and shoulders pattern, probably trade the break of this little neckline and this little low area, which is around 112.90, give or take, and 85.90, and we'll be looking to take the euro dollar down from there. But again, I'm leaning more, but I have no idea what's going to happen on Thursday. But I'm leaning more towards trading the euro dollar up, and I want to short some moves down, and then I want to buy some dips on this. I'd like to get long euro dollar again, somewhere between 11100 and 11200 is where I want to get is where I want to start getting long again euro dollar. So if we get an opportunity to trade this pair down into that 112 and below 112, then I'm going to be looking for opportunities, with the news in mind on Thursday to buy euro dollar and get long and trade this one back on up. So little short-term opportunity. Let's look for shorts below about 112.85 for moves down into 11200 and hopefully through 11200. Okay, so I'm looking at pound dollar as well. I like the pound dollar, but again, this one, we've got a couple of big UK news announcements coming up with retail sales and UK employment numbers and so on. So I'm going to be pretty careful with the pound dollar. This one has been very, very interesting. We've had some kind of big movements here, and we've been looking to kind of see what that next leg of activity is going to be. You can see that the pound has held these low levels pretty nicely, and then it seems to kind of just rally off those lows. Our retracement that we've seen of this huge movement down, the pound is retraced off 50%, pretty much on the dot, and it's back down. Got some nice bullish engulfing candles. It's just pretty choppy and pretty trendless. So I'm going to be looking for, as we get into news announcements and so on, I'm going to be looking to just, trade some breaks. We've got just some simple support and resistance levels that are very uneventful and very easy to just jump in and get past some of those highs and lows and get some little trades and so on. So nothing super exciting for the bigger outlook on pound dollar yet, although we will have some live trading events within my trading group this week for some of the UK news, and it's big UK news, and we will have some pending orders set, and we'll be planning on jumping into some of those things. Okay, so that's about the extent of my excitement for euro dollar and pound dollar pairs, and almost mostly dollar pairs in general. I'm very, very interested in yen pairs this week. I think the yen is going to be interesting. Now, to go back to something dollar related, dollar yen is good, and we had a trade on the dollar yen about a week and a half ago, and it's just basically kind of sitting in this middle zone here. I think the dollar yen is still a very, very good one to be trading. We saw this huge move down on dollar yen. It just went totally crazy nuts. Ran down and it spiked back up a good little bit here. But it's held on to that 61.8% retracement. It hasn't quite retraced all of that. And for the most part, it's done a pretty good job staying below the 50% fib level here. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for kind of the price pattern stuff. I'm looking for this little continuation down to continue. Again, depending on what the Fed says and how things go on Thursday, it's going to affect the stock market a lot. But the dollar yen loves to move with the stock market, and so I think this is going to be a fantastic one to trade. And I still like being long yen. So I want to be short dollar yen. I want to trade dollar weakness and yen strength on this pair. So I think we've got a good chance for the dollar yen to finally start to take out some of these major. We have just major missed pivots. We have a 200 moving average on this weekly chart that hasn't been touched in a long time. And so I think we're ready for a little bit of retracement here. We go all the way back to 2012 since the last time it touched the 200 moving average on the weekly chart. That's a big deal. So I think this one is going to be a good candidate for some opportunities to short it and to get some nice price patterns and sell some breaks and sell some rallies and so on. So we're going to be doing that this week. Again, it's going to be very short term on pairs like dollar yen, pound dollar, and euro dollar because of the big looming news that we have. But after we get through the news, again, if things don't massively change with the FOMC statement this Thursday, then I'm going to be looking to continue pushing my dollar yen shorts. I think this is going to be a great trading opportunity this week and next week and so on. I'm a tiny bit more bullish on the euro. The euro has kind of slipped into the background, and euro dollar's holding pretty strong. Euro CAD's holding pretty strong. Euro yen's holding pretty strong. And so I'm going to be very cautious. As I mentioned, I want to be long yen pairs, but I don't know if I want to be long euro yen, or excuse me, yen against the euro as much as yen against some of these other pairs. So meaning meaning that I'm not 100% sure that I'm as excited about shorting euro yen as I am about shorting dollar yen and pound yen. The euro yen is technically speaking is actually playing out very well, but again, because of the caution of some of the euro strength that we're seeing, I'm going to be pretty careful with this. But the euro yen has got a very nice big daily head and shoulders pattern. We broke out of this huge rising wedge right here. And it dipped just below the neckline of this big head and shoulders pattern, and then it's kind of running back up, and it almost looks like it may try to create another little head and shoulders pattern. But as it broke out of this rising wedge, broke out, made a nice run down, and came right back up and basically tested that breakout area, that trend line, and it's just right back down again. So it's encouraging for those that are short euro yen, and I want to be short euro yen, and we've had some good trades being short euro yen. But it's going to be a tricky one. I think short dollar yen and short pound yen are going to be some better bets than short euro yen. But I am excited about the euro yen, and I think that this one still has some great potential. And again, getting back below, if euro yen gets below 130, 13300 again, then the floodgates are open in my opinion, and I'm trading this down to 125, 126 area. But I'm going to be looking for some short-term yen setups this week, as well as short-term euro dollar and short-term pound dollar. And it's going to be a little tough to talk about what those short-term setups are going to be right now because they're going to change every single day. So within the trade group, we're going to be trading those short-term setups. And for everybody here with this Monday kind of watch list for the whole week, suffice to say that I'm going to have to talk about some longer term directions more than just the short term stuff because the short term picture will change day to day. But I do want to be in some of these yen pairs. I want to trade these yen pairs down. I think they're great. And I think euro yen has good potential, but I'm going to be cautious with it. I like dollar yen short a lot, and I like pound yen short a lot. I think this is a great one as well. The pound yen got below some very, very important levels. Now, pound yen, you can see, has not yet touched the 200 moving average on the weekly chart either. Everything goes back into 2012 and so on. It's been a couple of years since most of these have reached the 200 moving average. And the pound yen has struggled. Every time it dips down, it has a big rejection, and it just kind of continues back up from there. What I'm basically looking for here is if the pound yen can hold on to the area below the 200 moving average on this daily chart, then I'm excited about being short pound yen. And at that point, I want to be short. I want to be short against some of these, more recent highs right here, for example. So I want to make sure that pound yen can stay below about 18700. Here we are at about 18500. So I'm going to be looking to short, just simple breaks of lows and simple retracements, things like this kind of stuff right here. Get a little bit of a pullback, sell the break of the trend line, trade it down to the next pivot point. I'm going to be doing a lot of that. But keep in mind that the pound yen may start to give us a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders pattern, and if it starts breaking above these levels right here, then that's where the picture for me changes, and I kind of reverse my thought process, and we start looking at getting long above 18800. But so far, I think the pound yen's a great opportunity, and I just want to short some pullbacks. If this makes a run up and gets a little bit closer into that, gets a little bit closer to 186 or above 18600, then we can start shorting this. With some breaks of trend lines and trading it down into these lows. But again, I do want to be short pound yen. I do want to be short euro yen if possible with a lot of caution, and I want to be short dollar yen absolutely. And I've also been watching the Aussie yen, and the Aussie yen has got some very, very excellent setups here for us as well. And you can see that this one is much more bearish on the weekly chart than all the other yen pairs. And I think that's a good sign for us. I think we've got a nice continuation here that should be able to help us pull, keep moving lower. And so I'm going to be looking for opportunities to get in some shorts after some small rallies on Aussie yen as well. So I think that's going to be good. Some of these other pairs are looking very interesting as well. Euro New Zealand looks good. We've got some good setups there. New Zealand dollar looks good. We've got good setups there. And we're going to talk about all of these things and how they're going to play out this week. We have so many things to talk about. But basically, I just wanted to mention I'm going to be looking for some little opportunities to short euro dollar. I'm going to be looking for some opportunities to trade pound dollar in whichever direction it goes just before the news. I'm going to trade some breakouts on that. That'll be pretty simple. I want to be short dollar yen. I want to be short euro yen. I want to be short pound yen. And I want to be short Aussie yen with some pullbacks and with a nice little price pattern for entry. And then we're going to look for a lot of other short-term trades on a lot of other pairs. And we're also going to be just really ready for Thursday and for the big news to hit there. So that should be exciting. I hope you guys have a wonderful, profitable week. Thanks for watching my Monday webinar and for my having a look at my watch list. I hope you guys make some money this week, and I hope to see you in the trade group. Remember, you can just go to daytradersfx.com /join, and you can get a free trial to our trade group this week, and that will allow you to trade for example, the FOMC statement, the U.S. interest rate news statement. That's going to be a live event that we'll do this week, and it's going to be really exciting and a lot of crazy activity. So be ready for that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. Have a wonderful day. Thanks, everyone.